Hi, welcome to Fish on Fridays. I'm Al McCauley, and today I want to talk about Fish on Fridays. You know, when I named this series of videos Fish on Fridays, I figured that title most Catholics are going to recognize because we're asked to abstain from meat on Fridays in Lent. And I liked it. It was catchy and all that too, of course. But I thought I would take a session just to explain the traditions behind Fish on Fridays. So let me start by dispelling any rumor you may have heard or any kind of idea that you might have been taught at some point in your life that back in the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church mandated that its believers eat fish on Fridays as a way to prop up the fishing industry. There's absolutely no historical evidence of that whatsoever. So let's get rid of that idea right away and dismiss it as anti-Catholic propaganda. So the idea of Fish on Fridays really has both theological and practical points about it that undergird it. Let's start with Friday. Fridays, of course, is the day that we remember that Jesus was crucified on Good Friday, the first Good Friday. And so Fridays have always been set aside in the Catholic tradition as being somber, as days of penance. And so we're asked to give up or abstain from meat on Fridays as an act of penance, as a way to connect our little suffering with the suffering of Christ, as a way to help bridge the gap between us and people in the world who might not have as much as us. That's called solidarity. So we're in solidarity with others. It's important to remember in the ancient world, when you were to eat meat, and it doesn't matter what you're going to eat. If you're going to slaughter a cow, a chicken, a lamb, doesn't matter what it is. If you're going to eat meat, you have to slaughter it, you have to prepare it, and you have to eat it all in the same day. Now, keep in mind, they didn't have refrigeration like we do today, so there's no leftovers for the next day or two or three. They're eating and preparing and killing all in the same day. The idea of killing an animal and shedding its blood on the day we remember that Jesus shed his blood and was killed just didn't seem to jive theologically. It didn't seem to make sense. And so we were asked by the church to remember the day of Jesus' death by not killing something and eating it on that day. So there's some of the theological and practical elements right there together. Interestingly, the church has kind of relaxed a little bit its policies in terms of eating meat on Fridays. Nowadays in the modern world, many people are vegetarians. Many people don't have access to meat, and so since Vatican II, which ended in 1965. The church has really relaxed its rules on eating only fish on Fridays. What it has asked us to do is to do some form of penance that would be meaningful and help to remind us of Jesus' sacrifice by dying on the cross. Just as a little end note, a little kind of a fun fact end note on this, in 1962, there was an American entrepreneur who owned a McDonald's franchise in Cincinnati, Ohio. And he recognized that his sales dipped big time on Fridays, especially during Lent. And so he asked several of his patrons what the deal was, what was going on. And they all told him, well, we're not going to eat meat on Fridays. And so he introduced into his restaurant a fish sandwich. And it caught on, and it went throughout the whole McDonald's franchise. And even today, we still have Filet-O-Fish. So even that tradition, the Filet-O-Fish sandwich at McDonald's, started because of this Catholic idea of fish on Fridays. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them. In the meantime, be good to each other, and God bless.